to the first episode, the very first episode of Lauren Williamson TV. This is something that I've been thinking about for a while now. I have been going back and forth about, okay, should I do it? Should I not do it? The same old, if everybody has one, what makes me any different? And, going back and forth about this for the past year or so, I've been just like been hesitant because I didn't want to just be a part of the crowd. But, what is the alternative? You not doing it and just wishing that you did, or you doing it and you have less regret. So I think that's the goal for me, is to go through this life and have at least the amount of regrets as possible, because I set out to do what it is that I wanted to do, and I did things that made me happy. So anyway, a little bit about me. Who am I, right? I mean, YouTube is full of people talking in a mic about things that they like and don't like. So what sets me apart? Like, who am I? I'm Lauren. I am a 30 something year old registered nurse. I've been a registered nurse for over 7 years, going on. Actually, I think this is year 8 for me. Yeah, this is year 8 for me. I keep forgetting. It's been a while since I started my nursing journey, but I would not trade it for the world. I love being a nurse. I've been doing it in different settings. I've been a nurse in different kind of specialties, from like neurology to cardiology, step down ICU. Like, I could go on and on about what I've done in that particular field, but I don't want this channel to be really centered around nursing, because, that's a part of my everyday. What I want this channel to really be about is kind of an overall world of things that interest me, right? So that is nursing, but that's only a part of the pie. It's not the whole pie. So I've always had like several conversations with my friends, with my family. We always go into these long debates about different things, and we've always just had great conversations. So I wanted to start this channel to kind of like continue the conversation and to really create a community of like-minded women like myself. I'm a nerd. I like nerdy shit. I ain't gonna lie to you. I could talk to you about Harry Potter, and I could talk to you about space, and I can talk to you about politics, and I can talk to you about health. I can talk to you about anything. I think that's been kind of like who I've been since the beginning. Is somebody who has been interested in a lot of different things and had an opinion about a lot of different things. So why not create a channel so I can put it out there? So anyway, it's Labor Day weekend. It's the time of year. I personally can't believe it's been 9 months at this point. Like, am I the only one who thinks that 2022 is gone by so fast? Like, I'm talking, this is the fastest year I think I've ever been through. I could be tripping, but I can't believe that 2022 is almost gone. And so with that being said, it's Labor Day weekend. You know what that means. We get a chance to, if you work at a place where, it's a state job, or places that, honor national holidays, most people are off work. I kind of was asking myself this question back and forth for the past few years. Now that you get into the workforce, you want to ask yourself, like, hey, what am I doing here? Like, is this my goal? Is this what I'm supposed to be doing? Is what I went to school for what I want to be doing? Because think about it. Like, when you go to school, you take all the tests, you take your license exam, you do the internships, you do the residency, you do all this stuff that prepares you for getting into the workforce. And you stop and you have to ask yourself, well, hopefully before graduation, and money is being wasted, but what is it that you really want to be doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, so I think, even when you get into the field, even when you get into your career, a couple years down the line, you should always be asking yourself, reevaluating your goals, right? And saying, does this make me happy? So surprisingly, I went and did a search about Americans and what makes us happy. Do we even like our jobs? And it's so funny because they're talking about the whole great resignation, since COVID, where people, especially millennials and generation before us, which I believe is Generation X, um, they have been resigning in mass numbers from the workforce, whether, due to whatever reason. It can be because they, didn't like the job and they're just fed up. It can be because they had bad management, poor management during COVID. It could have been because they didn't get the salary increase, because inflation is crazy right now. So as things get higher in price, are you getting compensated for it? So a lot of people have been resigning from work, whether to start their own business, to go back to school, or to just change employers. I think that whether you want to stay where you are or go someplace else, I think that should be a personal decision. I don't think that people should just follow trends just because it's trendy. Same thing with this thing about quiet resigning. I saw something on my social media, a report about quiet resigning, and I'm like, okay, you mean you just quitting and not telling anybody? And they're like, no, it's when you're doing the bare minimum at work, because you feel like you're not getting much from it. So you're just not really, you're doing your job, but you're not really doing your job. And I'm thinking to myself, why the fuck would you do that? I mean, I get it. And I've done it before too, because I'm not going to sit up here on a high horse and act like I've never, said, you know what, you're going to get the bare minimum from me today. Everybody has done that. However, I don't think that should be a continuous thing, because if you feel like you got to do all that, you probably need to do that reevaluation thing I was just talking about and figure out if you actually need to be there. You know what I'm saying? Because you're not hurting anyone in a sense, because eventually, while they may see a dip in your productivity, okay, you can get fired. And then of course that's, if you keep doing the same thing, then that's just never a good look. So I think the real goal of you not feeling appreciated, or you wanting to switch gears, is to actually just do that instead of just sitting on a job at your work desk, typing, and being on social media all day and things like that, and then doing a sale or doing a transaction or doing whatever here and there. It's like, okay, that's great, but it's not a long-term fix. So I just wanted to just mention that, because I just thought that was crazy that that's actually a trend. And in the fact that what bothers me too, let's talk about this, is TikTok and a lot of other social media platforms have been some sort of go-to destination for people to just tell on themselves. Like, you know, like they getting on rappers about, saying things in rap songs that's getting them indicted. It's the same thing. If you're on Twitter and you're on Instagram and TikTok telling, and you work remotely and you're telling your employer, I don't do work at home while I'm supposed to. You're literally saying this on your Instagram. You don't think that they're watching that? You don't think that that's something that they're collecting? Oh, these majority of people are not doing work, so let's probably cut, them from the organization, or cut their hours, or whatever the case may be, so you can quit. Like, I just don't understand that whole point of you telling on yourself when it comes to your workplace. I just think that that's crazy. I understand people want to be popular and do things for cloud and be viral, and I get that. But it's just not the right way, especially when it comes to your bread winning thing. Like, that's how you make your money. That's one thing I don't play about. My family and my money. Okay? I don't do that. So I just feel like, we can all slip up. We've probably said some things on social media that we probably will want to take back or delete it. But I think if you don't make an active practice of telling on yourself to your employer, especially if you like it there. If you don't like it there, then you do you, boo. You like, I don't give a damn anyway. But, if you are someplace where it's just like, I like being here, you get paid good, you like your staff, you like the organization, and you get sitting up there telling them that you're not doing work on the clock, that's not the best decision to make. it's, it's not. So, um, but I wanted to move on into this article that I read about, job satisfaction. And it surprised me, y'all. Like, it surprised me. So, the average American, despite the great resignation, the average American, so 65% of the U.S. is happy with their job. I'm going to let that sink in. 65% of U.S. workers are happy with their job. So all of this conversation on social media about how people are resigning and things like that, like, sometimes there is a such thing as fake news. I'm not saying that this report is, trumps people's feelings or whatever. All I'm saying is that just be careful, because some things you may see or trends you may see on social media does not necessarily reflect real life. Okay. So, while 65% of Americans are happy with their job, only 20% are passionate about their job. So that's another thing. There is a difference between you being happy and you being passionate. Okay. I can be happy with some fries from Wendy's, but I'm passionate about crab legs from Juicy Crab. Okay? That's passionate. So I think, all jokes aside, I'm not saying you got to be completely enamored with what you do every day. Because, what you're enamored with may not even be your purpose, but that's another story, okay? We're going to talk about that on another episode. So I feel like, if you always hearing people say, oh, yeah, leave your job. Beyonce just told us on her internet that you need to quit your job. But if you're a part of the 65% of the people who actually like their job, do you need to quit? Probably not. It's just a song. So, enjoy the song and keep it moving. If you see the meme online and they're telling you that if you work a 9 to 5, you a simp. If you work a 9 to 5, you a lame. If you did it, you just told your spouse or you just told your mama yesterday that they promoted you and you enjoying what you're doing now. And then you just saw that meme telling you that if you work this job and you don't own your own business, then you a lame. And now you sitting here thinking to yourself, am I a lame? Am I a lame? Because I could have sworn I just liked my job yesterday, but maybe I'm a lame. Maybe I shouldn't like it. No, we're not doing that. We're all, free thinking individuals. Okay. So I think that it's important that we just be mindful of what we're consuming and actually how we think after we consume it. Because if it's manipulating you into doing something that you really didn't want to do in the first place, then it's probably not good content to consume. Okay. Yeah, so I just thought that was interesting. I was like, it's Labor Day. What does Labor Day actually even mean? Right? We celebrate Labor Day. We just think it's another day off of work. But I think it's a good time to reflect. I think it's a good annual day to reflect on what it is that you're doing and see if you need to change it or keep going. Why not use it as an evaluation day? I think that's a good idea. Let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know what you use Labor Day for. Or do you think that we could probably use it as an annual evaluation? Let's use it as our own annual evaluation. Tell me what you think. So moving on. Speaking of, reevaluating and going after your goals. So the blogs just reported, we just saw that in Atlanta, Georgia. She by Sheree just went live. If you don't know what I'm talking about, Real Housewives of Atlanta veteran, don't get it twisted, she didn't just start it, veteran, Sheree Whitfield, just launched her She by Sheree collection. It looks like it's like athleisure slash, casual slash, a couple slashes there, but we all know the infamous season when she was going to launch this clothing line, and everybody was just waiting on the day when it was going to actually launch, and she kept pushing it back. The infamous reunion episode when she was saying, September, fall, June, you know, Wyoming. I don't know what she was saying. She basically was, coming up with the time, but it wasn't really the right time. It wasn't really the right time for her to launch it. But instead of, I think, her saying, I can't do it right now, she just was kind of putting on that it was going to come. And, no shade to her. I don't have anything against Sheree because we all know, things happen. But it's been 14 years. And she finally launched it. So proud of this black woman. Applaud her for actually doing it finally. Now, if it was just something to shut the haters up, that's fine too. Because a lot of people got a lot of things to say about her and what she's been doing and things like that. So maybe she just did it to just say, okay, I did it. Now, shut up. What? You can't laugh no more. You know what I'm saying? I'm not the butt of that joke anymore. But in my eyes, if never giving up on your dreams was a person, it's her. So kudos to that woman. But yeah, I understand too the pressures, right? You're in Housewives, it's all tea and shade and everything being thrown around every 5 minutes. I get it. Everybody gonna make fun of you for what you didn't do and how you ain't got no man and how to didn't. But let me tell you something though about Sheree, and I just gotta say this. I wish I could look like that in my 50s. I don't know if she's 40 or 50, her 40s or 50s, but regardless, I wish I can look like that because Homegirl is fit. Let me tell you that. So, obviously she keeps herself up and I commend her for that. But there's a lot of pressures on that show to be financially successful. If you think about, everybody has something going on in some kind of way, whether it's Nene, being who she is and just blowing up, from that show and getting all these endeavors and being on all these programs, kudos to her for that. But then the top queen of the coin, let's not get it twisted, is Kandi Burruss, Tucker. Okay. I don't know if hyping Tucker, but Tucker's on there. And we not going to disrespect Todd like that. So Kandi Burruss Tucker, she definitely is a boss, has multiple successful businesses. So as Sheree, I'm sure she felt it that, hey, I got to do something to make it seem like I'm doing something out here in these streets. She could be doing other quiet endeavors, but the She by Sheree was her greatest kind of thing that people poke fun of. So kudos to her for doing that. Unfortunately, though, there are people who are saying that her line is kind of overpriced. And so what I mean by overpriced is for the type of clothes she's putting out that's on the website, they have seen similar, if not the same pieces on other websites. I'm not going to shout anybody out because, that's another conversation. But yeah, I mean, how do you feel about that? Like, we've seen it before. When designer brands do it, like Balenciaga and, Hermes and whomever, Gucci, even Kim Kardashian, even other celebrities who have lines, we've seen them use the same kind of design from another website and upcharge it. It's not the first time this has happened. This is not something that's new. Same vice versa. You know, the fashion boutiques might take a design from the popular, houses, fashion houses, and they may sell it at a cheaper price because they use cheaper materials. It happens, is what I'm saying. So, with that being said, it doesn't take away from Sheree. If you don't want to buy it, then don't buy it. If you don't want to buy it, then don't buy it. Don't bash the girl for doing something that you've been clowning her for not doing, but then turn around and, say, oh, it costs too much. Who are you? Blah, 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 blah. Don't do that because you can't win for losing at that point then. If you don't like it, then don't buy it. But if you like it, support the chick. It's whatever at this point. Everybody is selling apparel. So, if you want to spend the money on it, then spend the money on it. If you don't, then go to the other online boutiques and get it for a fraction of the price. Okay? So, it is what it is with all that. I feel like people have a lot to say when you're trying to do something. They're going to always have something to say, but it's up to you to not let that get to you and continue to do what it is that makes you happy. Because if not, you're going to always be on that wheel of shoulda, coulda, wouldas. And then you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. Period. So yeah. So before we head out, I do want to get into my must-watch list. This week, this week was kind of weird because I had a very long week at work and I was just exhausted getting home, and I was just like, I cannot even hold my eyes open to watch a movie. But it wasn't until Saturday when I got a chance to watch what movie was that? Honk for Jesus. So, guys, I know you guys have seen the commercials. I know you guys have seen the videos and the memes regarding this movie with the incomparable Regina Hall and Sterling Brown. First, let me just say, I understand that there is a difference between comedy, just straight comedy, and satire, right? I think comedy is like a big umbrella of things, but satire, I could be wrong. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. Satire, I would think is like a sub-genre of comedy. So it's kind of like um, you use more theatrical elements in the comedy space to make it funny, but also to relay a message. That's been my understanding of satire. So I feel like with this movie, I personally didn't finish it, but I do want to finish it because I understand that Regina King and Regina Hall, I'm sorry, and Sterling Brown just wouldn't do something for the sake of doing it because they just have such a extensive catalog and they're just phenomenal actors. So I do want to finish it, but the parts that I did see in the beginning, it was interesting. Some parts were kind of like, y'all went there. Oh shoot. Okay. You know what I'm saying? And then some parts was like, okay, I see what you did there. Because, we all know what people think about church and how the black church is very theatrical and it's, very conniving or deceiving. And I know that some people of the church probably wouldn't like this movie just because of, how it's portrayed. But I think that once you kind of get past that, maybe you'll be able to get to a deeper point. So I'm gonna look forward to finishing it so that way I can give a full review on it, because I think that it's important to have the conversation as long as the movie is done well. I'm a big movie head. I even studied film in college, and so the way I look at films is a little bit different than the average person. I'm always looking at cinematography. I'm always looking at the script and the build up and the introduction and the aesthetics of it. So if it's done well, if it's like, okay, that director or that editor, that whoever did their thing on that, if it's done well, I have no problem kind of getting over my feelings about it. But if it's just done poorly and it's a poor taste, I'm like, I can't get jiggy with that. So I just want to see the full thing before I give a full review. But please take a look at it. Support these wonderful black actors because they're just absolutely amazing, and we always want more work for those two. Um, Lastly, we know Ari Lennox is that girl. Let's just say that first and foremost. You know, everybody is talking about R&B is dead. Look, to some degree, I definitely agree with that statement. You know, with everybody trying to be extremely toxic, with everybody trying to just, not care about anybody, is you're losing the love. We know that. You're losing the love. And unfortunately, it's but so many artists still, actually taking the time out to express love. And even if it's not, the subject isn't about love, the vibe of the song, when I say vibe, it's like, how does it make you feel? Like the instrumentation, the groove, like how neo soul made you feel. It's but so many artists still making you feel that way anymore. And one thing I can say about Ari Lennox is that she has not let up on that feeling since she first came out. You know, her first true album, Shea Butter Baby, was definitely a vibe. Like it was definitely giving, 20 something year old girl trying to figure it out, who's gorgeous but can't get things quite right. Like that was me. Okay, that was me. So this particular EP that I listened to over the weekend, it was giving 30 something year old woman who got right, who got her shit together, who started to think about what it is that she wanted to do, how she wanted to be perceived, and I'm all for it. Okay? I'm all for it. And this song, Queen Space, it definitely um gave that vibe of, hey, I'm here, I'm a queen, okay? If you're not trying to be what I need you to be, then please step off, okay? Cuz I ain't got the time. And, the with the assistance of Summer Walker, it was a groove that I kept playing over the weekend, and I wanted to let you guys know because these women are definitely doing their thing right now. So, anyways, that's pretty much all I wanted to kind of go through this first episode. Um, so yeah, thank you for joining me for my first ever episode on Lauren Williamson TV. Um, this was fun. You know what I'm saying? So I'll join me, next week. We'll be going over more things and having more conversation, and talk to each other in the comments. Let's make this a real community. I look forward to, seeing what you guys have to say about the topics that we go over. And please, please, please enjoy your week. Be safe out here and be blessed. Goodbye.